Right, well, first of all, we've got an all-star cast for you. So if the people on the panel could come on up, that would be great. So we've got Boaz, Keizire from Agra, Martin Walia from the Nepal agency, Jim Omke, I mispronounced your last name there, sorry, from USAID, and Doreen from the One Campaign, and Maurice from the AUC. So I think most of you will know these wonderful characters, many of whom have been CADAP veterans, actually. Sorry. Okay, we're going to do that now or at the end? Okay. So we do actually, yeah, I think it might, should we do it at the end? Okay, we'll do it at the end. We've got some music for you for when we get to the One Campaign, because let's introduce Doreen first of all then, from the One Campaign, who play a key role in advocacy. You are, you're the Policy and Advocacy Manager here at the African Union, and later on we've got some music that brings their work to life for us a bit. Working along, we've got Maurice, who, as we know, is the lead for the work on Pillar 4 for the AUC, and at the end, Martin Walia, who's been involved with CADAP for a long time. I've got you down here as the head of CADAP. Is that still that's not still your job title, is it? But maybe we can call it, what is your job title at the moment, Martin? Okay, you can tell us what your job title is when we get to you, but certainly you've been a CADAP Grandmaster for many, many years, so you know your CADAP stuff. Then we've got, next to me, Jim Umko, Senior Food Security and Nutrition Advisor from USAID, and Boaz Keizire, who again has been involved with CADAP for as long as I've known, and is now Head of Policy and Advocacy at Agra. So, amazing things have been achieved in the last 10 years from the CADAP agenda. We're seeing a really positive story based on the Maputo ambitions of 6% growth and 10% of ag spending, but Malabo has raised the bar. Malabo Declaration is asking for amazing things beyond that. It includes those, but now it says by 2025, in 10 years' time, we're going to end hunger. We're going to halve poverty. Intra-African trade will triple. There will be jobs for 30% of the youth in agricultural value chains. These are amazing ambitions, but perhaps we can take some confidence from actually the last 10 years and the story that's coming out. But this is a phenomenally ambitious agenda. In the AU Summit in 2018, there will be the Malabo Biennial Review, the first one, and by then we need to be telling a story about how we're delivering on this highly ambitious agenda. So I'm going to be asking the panelists about what, from their different stakeholder position, is going to be needed to really see some progress so we can arrive at that AU Summit with an amazing message about what's being achieved as we sort of embark on this journey over the next decade. And I'm going to start actually with Boaz, because into this mix, there's a whole lot of new ambition about the role of the private sector. You know, if ag trade is going to triple, we're going to see, and that many jobs are going to be created for youth. There's a huge role here for the private sector. How do you think, what needs to happen to get the private sector really rallying and engaged behind this agenda to deliver its promise? And I know Agra is become a key sort of piece of what Agra is focusing on, realising the opportunity and engaging with the private sector, and it'd be interesting to hear a bit about how you see kind of Agra's role in that.
Yeah, Agra's role in this. Let me start by indicating specifically the appreciation of the role that ReSAKSS has been playing in redefining the way agriculture performance on the continent is reported and communicated. I think if you use the annual trends and outlook report that was presented, it's one of the best sources of information on the way you aggregate agricultural performance and statistics on the continent. And I really wanted to make that point before I respond immediately to your question. I will provide my responses along the key interventions that AGRA is doing at the moment and moving forward. AGRA is providing its work in support and working with the private sector to provide different integrated solutions. We call them integrated solutions in the sense that once you pursue parallel approaches, you compromise the delivery of a common good. One of the first integrated solution is around facilitating and helping the private sector to better access improved technologies, seeds, fertilizers, mechanization. And this specifically speaks to the commitment from Malabo on doubling total factor productivity in the countries that we work in. So in this particular case, AGRA will support and work with countries and private sector to increase and help double total factor productivity, but more importantly, help to deliver on those particular commitments in the joint sector review and support the governments to report them during the biannual review alongside the indicators that have been agreed in that particular case. The second integrated solution is around the access to agricultural finance and through providing financial solutions around credit guarantees and credit lending. What AGRA does, it uses its own money to guarantee and leverage other financial institutions to increase agricultural lending. In fact, in the last 5 years, AGRA has been able to put around $17 million through credit to guarantee over $160 million in a number of countries. And then, in this particular case, in terms of reporting through joint sector review, AGRA will be helping countries to make sure that on indicators that relate on increased financing for agriculture, those ones are reported along those particular lines, and also corresponding indicators around the biannual review. The third specific solution is around providing support to input and output markets. You don't increase production productivity without working on the market aspects, both for inputs as well as for outputs. And this is also related to delivering on the commitment around trade, intra-African trade and other part of the value chain. The fourth is around providing specific information communication technology tools, working with mobile phone companies, banks, radio, television, especially for packaging information and extension messages. Again, reporting around the same commitments that countries would have highlighted in their specific indicators as well as in the biannual review. In the broader area of policy and advocacy, which I lead at AGRA, and at the moment is working and support countries not only to relook at their policy constraint in the broader sense, but also specific policy challenges that are constraining transformation that is happening, even if it's in other inputs as well as in output markets. And that would also relate to delivering on policy commitments at country level as well as at biannual review level at continental level. Countries would be better to report on their country-specific commitments as well as at the continental level with support and involvement of AGRA. The last part is on the whole brokering of partnerships, working with all these institutions that work around forging, creating, and bringing all different private sectors along the entire value chain on the areas I've mentioned. And if you go back again around the Malabo commitments, one of the commitments is to at least every country establish 5 commodity value chains with different private sector actors. So we will work to make sure that these commodity value chains are established, are supported, and partnering with others. We don't do it alone, and that's what exactly I mentioned by making sure that we provide specific solutions, working with Grow Africa, for example, and others, to make sure that those partnerships work. Yes, I will stop there for the time being.
Thank you. And we are very much looking forward to working with you. So I think it's an exciting time for the private sector, but this kind of work is absolutely vital.